In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a new carburetor on your Honda GX160 engine. I'm sure at this point you have already made up in your mind that a new carburetor is best for your engine. But first you want to check out a video to see if this is something that you actually want to do. So what I'm going to do is show you step by step how to remove your old carburetor and install your new carburetor. So here we go. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to remove the wing nut that secures your air cleaner cover to your air cleaner housing. Now we're going to remove your air filter. Okay, next you got two 6mm nuts that we're going to have to remove with the 10mm socket. And you got a bolt right here that we're also going to remove in order to be able to remove your air cleaner housing here and pull it forward. So first we're going to go ahead and remove the two nuts. Okay, now the bolt, we're going to remove it with the same 10mm socket. Okay. Now we're almost ready to pull your air cleaner housing forward. But first we got to remove the breather tube from your valve cover here. So now that I got it removed, we can slide this forward. And one thing you want to remember, right here, you want to align your two levers here. The top one is your choke lever, and the lower one is the one that shuts your fuel on and off. So you want to align these in a manner that will allow your air cleaner housing to move forward. So there we go. So now we're down to the carburetor and we're ready to remove it. But first thing we need to do is remove the fuel hose from the carburetor, and then we're going to have to unattach your throttle linkage and your governor spring. And I'm going to move the camera closer so that I can show you that. Okay, what we're going to do first is remove this gasket from the front of your carburetor and put it to the side. Next, we're going to use some needle nose pliers to squeeze your clamp so that you can move it up your hose in order to be able to pull your hose from your carburetor, your fuel hose. Okay. There you go. So now we're going to move the carburetor forward so that we can disconnect your governor spring right here. Okay, and remove your throttle linkage. Okay, there we go. Now your carburetor is ready to move forward and off. There's the old carburetor. So now we're ready to install the new carburetor. And if you'll notice, we're going to use the same gasket right here. This is because it's not damaged and it's still in good condition. So we're going to go ahead and reuse that gasket. So now we're going to go back with your new carburetor. So what we're going to do first is slide it up here. Okay, not all the way, part of the way. Now we're going to hook your linkage back up to your throttle. that's attached now. The next thing we want to do is reattach your governor spring. Okay, there we go. Next thing we need to do is slide the carburetor up and reattach your fuel hose. Okay, use your needle nose pliers to squeeze your clamp here and move it back down your hose. Now we can slide this all the way back. Now we're ready to go back in the reverse order with everything else. The first thing you want to do is remember to put this gasket back on. Okay, now that your gasket is back on, now you want to put your air cleaner housing back on. And you see your breather tube here. You want to make sure that you remember to reattach your breather tube back inside the hole in your valve cover. And remember to align these so that you can get your cover back on. Okay, now that that's back on, we can put your bolt back in first. It don't matter if it go last. Okay, and your 8mm, or your 6mm nuts. Okay, now we can tighten everything now. Okay, now your new carburetor is installed. So the next thing you do, you put your air filter back on and your air filter cover. Then your wing nut. And there you have it. Something that I highly recommend is anytime you install a new carburetor or a rebuilt carburetor or one that you have recently cleaned, what you want to do is inspect the insides of your fuel tank. What you're checking for is sediment, contaminants, or maybe rust inside, because this needs to be cleaned. Because if you do not clean out the insides of your fuel tank, the contents of the fuel tank can flow back into your carburetor and recontaminate it, and you have the same issues all over again. So what I'm going to do is remove the fuel tank from this engine and give it a good inspection and cleaning if needed. And I'll come back before the end of the video and start this engine and let you all hear how it sounds with the new carburetor. Okay, I've already filled the tank with fuel, and I looked inside and inspected the fuel tank, and actually it looked fairly well inside. So I went ahead and filled it with fuel, and I added a little fuel stabilizer to the fuel tank. And I highly recommend that if you live in an area that sells non-ethanol fuel, that you use that in your small engines. And also, if you're not going to use your engine for long periods of time, add a little fuel stabilizer, and that'll ensure easy starting the very next time you start to start your engine. So now what I'm going to do is turn kill switch on. Choke the engine now. And I'm gonna turn the fuel on. And let's pull the rope and let's see what it does. Okay, there you go. And this was a successful carburetor replacement. And by all means, if you have a small engine repair shop in your area, support your small engine repair shop. But if for some reason they cannot get to you within a timely manner and you want to do it yourself, what I suggest you is check out my videos and also check out other videos on YouTube, because there are some channels out there with some excellent videos on how to make repairs yourself. So there it is.